Well, I'm out here fishing, not catching anything. And I was thinking, man, there's so many things with fishing, so many things going on. Tide, swell, bait, all this stuff. It's way too complicated for the human brain to comprehend. So I had an idea. Let's just get AI to take care of it all for us. Here we are. Got my computer. This should be a lot easier. ChatGPT, here we come. Hello. All right, here we go. Give me a step-by-step guide to catch a big California halibut from my kayak in the Bay Area. I gotta be super specific with this thing, otherwise it doesn't know what I'm saying. Remember that catching a big California halibut from your kayak requires patience, skill, and safety precautions. With the right equipment, technique, and location, you'll increase your chances of success. Good luck and happy fishing. All right, step number 1. Choose the right kayak. You'll need a kayak that is stable, comfortable, and large enough to hold all your fishing gear. Sit-on-top kayaks are a popular choice of fishing because they are easy to get in and out of and provide plenty of storage space. Well, out here on my Old Town Sportsman Autopilot 120, if you follow the channel, this kayak is very capable of catching many fish and carrying a lot of gear. We catch a lot of fish on this kayak. So step 1, complete. Step number 2, check the weather and tides. Check the weather and forecast and tides before heading out in your kayak. You want to fish during a low tide when the halibut come closer to shore to feed. I'm not sure I necessarily agree with the low tide thing, but we're gonna go with it. So first off, weather. Well, it's a little bit breezy this morning. Overcast skies, a little chilly, probably 50, 60 degrees air temp. Water temp is 54. And yeah, a little breezy. Hoping this wind calms down as the day goes on, because if it picks up any more than this, it's gonna make fishing really tough. So yeah, for now, weather's checked. And then as far as low tide goes, the low tide this morning is actually at like 8:30. I forgot the exact time. I checked last night. So I'm not sure I necessarily agree with the low tide thing. I feel like, especially out in the open ocean, halibut don't really feed according to the tide as much. But you know, I'm following ChatGPT today, so low tide it is. Low tide is coming up in about an hour. If all holds true, if this thing knows what it's talking about, then we should be set to go. The bite should be pretty good. So, step 2, done. All right, moving along. Step number 3, choose the right equipment. For catching a big California halibut, you'll need a sturdy rod with strong line. You'll also need a variety of lures such as swim baits, soft plastics, and jigs to attract the halibut. Make sure to choose gear that is appropriate for kayak fishing. So, also, if you've been following along the channel, these are a couple of the rods that I use. This is a Lyman Glass 8.5 foot. I think this is a 9 foot. I use a little bit more flexible rods because that's what I like. Both are very capable for halibut, and both are very capable on the kayak. So, as far as gear goes, that's checked off. And then number 3, or then I guess number 3 part B, is talking about the bait. I got plenty of jigs and swim baits and stuff to use, but I personally want to use live bait. So I asked it another question. I said, what is the best bait to use for California halibut? And the first response was live bait. Live bait such as anchovies, smelt, and sardines can be effective for catching halibut. You can hook bait through the nose or tail and let it swim naturally in the water. Okay, sounds good. We actually brought some speakies. However, I caught my last halibut out here on a live smelt, so I try to mix it up a little bit. And lucky enough for us, number 2 was squid. Fresh or frozen squid can be effective bait for halibut. Cut the squid into strips or use it whole and hook it through the mantle. So, we're gonna be looking for live squid this morning. And lucky for us, first drop out here, I was able to find a couple of live squid just like that right there. And that's just a small one, but we're gonna cut. Thanks. Squirting all over the place. And that's just a little one, but we're gonna keep looking over here. There's a bunch of boats over here jigging for squid, so let's follow these guys and see what we can find. Really quickly, I want to thank Dave for sponsoring this video. Between gas, fishing tackle, and kayak accessories, fishing can get expensive fast. If you're living paycheck to paycheck or struggling to make ends meet, it can be super stressful when unexpected expenses come up. Through Dave, you can get your money sooner so you can go fishing without worrying about how much money you have to get through the week. Dave is a banking app that could get you up to $500 instantly with extra cash. With no interest, late fees, or credit check, Dave can help fill your tank, get your boat repaired, or catch up on bills without having to wait for your next paycheck. Download Dave today at dave.com/diehardfishing. That's dave.com/diehardfishing. Sign up for an extra cash account and get up to $500 instantly. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve, member FDIC. Thank you again to Dave for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back out on the kayak. There we go, here we go. That's a squid. That's a squid. Oh yeah, we're on a good hole right here. Marking them on my finder. So we're using a squid jig today. If you've never seen one of these, hold on a second. Oh, one came off right there. Dang it. Anyways, the one that we did get is a nice one. That's a halibut candy right there. But yeah, I was just saying we're using a squid jig today. So if you've never seen one of these, it's basically 5 little glow beads with a little upward facing prong below it. So what happens is these squid, when they mate, they're actually like, they have this little piece, this little part of their, inside their, the top of, here, let me pull out a squid. So I believe when these squid are mating, there's a piece inside the top of their body there that actually lights up. And they use that to attract mates, I believe. Don't quote me on this, but as far as I know, that's how it works. And basically what this squid jig does is it has those glow beads, and that'll be lighting up down there at the bottom. We're in 100 feet of water here. So down at the bottom of the ocean, those glow beads will be, giving off light. And so the squid will come up to the glow bead, thinking that it's another squid, thinking that it's gonna mate. And then we give it this little upward jigging motion like this. So when they grab onto the glow bead, they'll grab it with their tentacles, and then that little prong that's right below it will get that squid. If you're not careful, they can easily flop off the top there. So you just want to reel it in, slow and steady. Hopefully I can catch a few more here to show you exactly how it's done. But yeah, slow and steady. Just bring them up all the way up to the surface. You can pop them off, throw them in your bait tank, and then you're right back down there trying to get a few more. And I know this is a mission to catch some halibut, but if you've never had fresh squid to eat, let me tell you, it's really good. So if I can catch a few extra, little side mission, hopefully we can catch a halibut later on to bring home for dinner, and hopefully we can have a little side of calamari with that. There we go. Little guy. Bite-sized morsel. Slow and steady wins the race when it comes to squid catching. Don't need to go super fast. Just make sure you keep up with the swell. Oh, got all bunched up on there. Look at that. Yep, now we're on them. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. We're on them, ladies and gentlemen. We're on them. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what you're looking for right there. 4 feet. 1, 2. Look at that. 2 on 1 little jig. 3, 4. So a few people have asked me about marking squid on the fish finder. And this, every fish finder is different, so you should just kind of learn what yours is giving off. But this is typically what the squid looks like on my fish finder. Kind of like a faint bluish yellow, and usually on the bottom. So you can see right there, 80 to the bottom, 95 feet. Those are squid right down there. 1, 2, only 2 that time, but on them big time now. Let's see if I find the school. That's the beauty of this squid jig. You can catch them with others, so like sabikis and stuff. But the beauty of this squid jig is just the efficiency. Look at that, there's 3 of them right there. 1, 2, 3. Quick off hooking, and we're right back down to the school. Give me 2 good ones. Oh, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost got every single one on that time. Something oddly satisfying about catching squid. And I might save a couple, 1, 2, 3. I can already taste them. We're gonna be bringing some home for dinner. All right, I just filled up this thing. I don't know if you can see in there, but I think I probably got over 100 there. Definitely enough for bait, enough for dinner tonight, and then I'm also gonna freeze a few and save them for bait probably in another video. But anyways, squid fishing, major success. Now let's go look for the real deal, look for the halibut. All right, number 4, target, structure, and drop-offs. Halibut are often found near underwater structure such as rocks, jetties, and piers. Look for drop-offs or changes in depths where halibut might be feeding. So we have a little kelp bed over here, and halibut, generally speaking, are be hanging out on the sandy bottom. So I'm not exactly sure if this thing knows what it's talking about, but it is true that they do hang out on the sandy bottom, but near the rocks and other structures and stuff like that, because those reefs and stuff like that, they all attract bait fish and stuff. So those halibut oftentimes will hang out right next to that. We've got some rocks over here, and I'm not sure if we're necessarily on a drop off, but this is the best we're gonna get. We're at 45 feet of water. We're gonna drop down right here, and we'll see what happens. The right technique. The most common technique for catching a California halibut in the Bay Area from a kayak is drift fishing. You'll want to drift your bait along the bottom while keeping your line tight. When you feel a tug, reel in your line quickly to set the hook. Alright, that's exactly what we're doing. We're just drifting here with the wind, letting the wind kind of push us off this way, covering some water. We'll see if there's any fish here. And then, following up with that, number 6, be patient and alert. Kayak fishing for halibut can require patience and focus. Keep your eyes peeled for signs of halibut activity, such as feeding birds or splashing water. You may need to try different locations, techniques, and lures before you find success. So we'll try this area for a little bit. There's not really much activity happening here, but obviously we can be patient. We'll try this for like 30 to 40 minutes, and then if nothing happens, we'll move on to our next location. Be patient and alert. So I'm going to be very patient, but at the same time, watch your odds here. I brought my breakfast. Good luck donut here. I'll be watching these rods very, very alertly. Oh, here we go. I don't think this is a halibut. Well, first fish of the day. Not unexpected when you're using live squid. Basically everything out here eats a live squid. Not the target species, but first fish of the morning. It's a little vermilion rockfish. Very colorful and delicious fish at the same time. But we're gonna let this one go. If you want to fish for rockfish like this in California, you're allowed to use 1 rod. So this one's gonna go back. Nice looking fish though, but not a halibut. Nope. Yeah, there's a fish. Not sure that this is a halibut. Maybe. there. Might be a halibut. Not even like a minute after I just released that rockfish. Oh, nope, never mind. Thought it was a halibut, but oh, it is a halibut. Sorry, when I first saw it, I thought it was a ling. But unfortunately, this is just a little guy. All right, that's California halibut. Brown on one side, white on the other. I want to get him back in because he's bleeding a little bit. So to give him the best chance of surviving, we'll get him right back in. There he goes. All right, that's the target species, but we're looking for one a little bit bigger. All right, we're skipping ahead a little bit to number 8. Follow fishing regulations. Make sure you follow all fishing regulations, including size limits and catch limits, to ensure you're fishing ethically and sustainably. So for California halibut in this area, I'm pretty sure all of California is the same, but you know for sure where we're fishing today, we're looking for a halibut of 22 inches minimum. So that one was probably, you know, I've caught plenty of halibut in my time, so I could just eyeball it. I think that was probably 18 to 20 inches, something like that. So definitely not a keeper, and I would have showed it to you a little bit more, but he was bleeding a little bit because the hook got him on the side. So I wanted to get him back in the water. Less stress on the fish, the less the better, the higher chance of survival, and the more chance that it'll grow up to be a keeper-sized fish and one of you, or maybe me, come back and catch him later in life. Not the target species. Well, third species of the day, but this is not the one that we're looking for, unfortunately. Alright, that's a little ling. These ones have some big teeth in there, but this is not what we're looking for. We're looking for halibut. Alright, go back. Well, this is the problem why I was saying you don't want to fish on the rocks, because once you get on the rocks, then this starts to happen. Get more of these. Another, looks like the same one I just caught. But this is not the same one, it's just another one. Same size and everything. Another ling. Alright, quick release. Looking for halibut. Halibut. I think I've had about enough of this. There was one halibut in there, so I did catch one. Maybe we'll come back to this spot if the next one doesn't pan out, but other than that, we just keep getting these kind of things. Rockfish. So it is true that the halibut will sometimes hang out by the structure, but I think there's just a little bit too much structure here, to be honest. Quick release. I think that's the 4th species. Alright, let's go find a halibut. Alright, spot number 2. Let's see what happens here. Well, like I was saying earlier, we're supposed to be patient, but also be willing to try different techniques, which I think that's really good advice, not just for halibut, but for lots of different kinds of fishing. So we'll try this spot for 30-40 minutes, see how it goes. If nothing happens, maybe I'll go back and try drifting that one area where I did get that one little halibut, because just because there's a little one doesn't mean there can't be a big one swimming pretty close to that one. But yeah, wanted to try another area. We're just getting too many rockfish and other stuff in that last spot, so looking for that big halibut now. Patient but alert. Oh, something's going on here. Something's going on here. The taker. Alright, said to reel quickly and set the hook. This is my favorite part right here. Yeah, there it is. Set that hook. I'm pretty sure this is a halibut. Oh man, some good head shakes there. Oh, okay, okay. Good little run there. Didn't say anything about bringing in the fish on the step-by-step guide, but basically you want to set your drag well, so that way when the fish runs, it takes line out of the reel, so that otherwise if that didn't happen, you know, when that fish runs, there'd be too much pressure on the line, and You know, if it's a big fish, it'll break the line. Here it comes. Oh, you know what? It's not even that big. He was putting on some good runs there, but to be honest, it's not even really that big of a halibut. I think it's a keeper, but I'm not really sure, so I'm just gonna try and bring him in. I have this gaff with me here, which I normally would use if it was a big fish, but I don't want to mess up this fish. And actually, I can see already that the tail has some splits on it, and that's from someone else probably netted this fish and then realized it wasn't a keeper fish, so I had to let it go. I'm just gonna bring him next to the kayak. I think he's a keeper. I want to say he's like 23 or 24, which is gonna be perfect eating size, but I'm not 100% sure, so that's why I don't want to stick him with this gaff. And if he flops off, you know, oh well, not the end of the world. Good thing is he went on a couple of good runs when he was down there, so he did exude or use some of his energy, but I'm sure he's still got a little bit left. And there's some of it. I'm pretty sure this one's a keeper, but I'm not 100%. I want to say I'm like 95% sure that it's a keeper. There we go. That's a halibut. That's the target species. So really quickly, before he flops around, give him a measure here. Oh yeah, easy keeper. That's 23. Is that not what I said? I think I said he was 23. He's about 23 and a quarter, 23 and a half. Okay, so now I'm for sure know he's a keeper. I think that was number 8 on the list, or something like that, knowing the regulations. So California halibut, minimum size in California, 22 inches like I was saying, so it exceeds that minimum size requirement. And the bag limit per person per day is 3 fish, at least in the area that I'm in. So we're allowed to catch 2 more if that happens to be, which we're still fishing, so it could be. But when you're on a kayak, it's always important to handle your fish properly, because it's very easy for these fish to flop around and flop right out of here. So we have this big stringer here, just like that. And even when I let go here, he might start flopping. And there you have it. That's California halibut. Brown on one side, white on the other. That's a really good sized eating fish. So if you're following along with the channel, my goal for this year is to catch a keeper California halibut in every month of the year. So it's now May. This is my first one in May. Actually, we're cutting a little close. No, I guess it's still mid-May. Still have some time left. But anyways, it's my first one in May. So we got January, February, March, April, May. Got 5 months down, almost halfway through. And that's a nice one. Last month's fish, let me just say, if you haven't watched the video from last month's fish, you should check it out. It was a monster. Biggest California halibut I've ever caught on channel, at least, I think. But anyways, yeah, it was a big one. This one, not huge, but like I was saying earlier, the smaller fish, the quality of the meat is definitely better. A little more tender. This is gonna be good cut up for sashimi. You can see there, it's got 2 eyes on the top of his head. These fish just sit on the bottom of the ocean floor, camouflage with the sand. You can see that's why it's got the brown on that one side, and then that white side just lays flat on the bottom. No fish ever sees that unless they're getting eaten by them mid-bite. But yeah, you can see the nice camouflage down on the bottom. And when they see unsuspecting prey swim over the top, boom, they get a burst of energy and just shoot after him. And unfortunately for him, he saw that squid, couldn't resist. But yeah, interesting looking fish if you've never seen them. 2 eyes. They're actually born with eyes on both sides of their head, just like any other fish. And then when they're really young, that other eye just migrates over to one side. And yeah, anytime you're bringing home fish, you're going to want to cut those gills to make sure all that blood comes out. I mean, I already got a bunch on my hand here. I think that's just because he was hooked close to the gills. So he's bleeding a little bit already, which is okay. But we're just finished the job, put him out of his misery, and get him on ice. So that meat stays nice and fresh. here we go, here we go. Yeah, here we go. That feels like another Hallie. Looking at number 2, hopefully. I don't know how big he is. I don't think it's a huge one, but hopefully another keeper. We'll find out, hopefully. Got some weight to it. Here he comes. Oh yeah. That looks like, actually I don't know. It's gonna be close. It's pretty similar to the last one in terms of size, so we're gonna have to do the same deal we did with that one. Try to measure him without injuring him. Oh man, he's digging. Alright. Looks like it. Mouth closed. Oh yeah. Keeper all day. Another 23-incher. Alright, definitely not huge, but they're gonna be good eating fish, and that's number 2 right there. Alright, so boom, number 2. Again, not huge, but we'll definitely take it. Nice 23-inch fish. Ball can bleed him. And now we'll go for the limit. The limit's 3, like I was saying earlier, so one more keeper, and that'll be it for the day. Always want to retie after catching, especially a toothy fish. What's happening here? I think something's happening here. Watch that rod tip. Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. That's a fish for sure. Hopefully another halibut. Didn't even get my other rod set back up yet. Let's see what we got here. Oh no. Oh no, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. We'll find out here. Let's see. Oh, it's so close. I don't know if you can you see that? That's the 22, that little line right there. Honestly, that's a keeper. You can see it hits the 22 there. I don't even need to do any tail pinching or anything. It's definitely there, but it's so close, I'm gonna let him go. I said this before, but I like to have a ½ inch buffer, so anything that's within a ½ inch of legal size, I like to just let it go. Also, I already caught 2, so that's a legal halibut. Honestly, that's our limit fish right there, but we'll let him go for one of you guys to catch. Not the best release. Sorry, dude. But swam off. So yeah, what I was saying is anytime you catch any fish, especially a fish with teeth, you always want to check your leader, especially right next to the hook. A lot of times it can get rubbed up on, and this one, just like that other one that I was retying, definitely got chafed up from that fish. So we'll cut this off and retie, and because this is a little sliding snow now, I'll just slide this hook up a little bit, and then I'm going to cut off like the bottom 4 or 5 inches there and just retie the treble right back to there. So don't have to tie a whole new leader, but just want to cut off that one part that's definitely weaker because of that fish. All right, here we go.
Get him.
Yep, this is a better one. I think this is a halibut.
He's quiet. He won't say shit. Of course.
Definitely a halibut with some weight there. We're gonna have to play this one out.
So he's taking right now.
Make sure the rod doesn't get spiked up. Now that if we can land this one will be our 3rd one, so I don't need to get another one on this rod anyways. So yeah, especially with these bigger ones, you gotta take your time with them. Let the rod do the work. Yeah, this one's got some more weight to it for sure. Yep, this is a good one. Nice position. Alright, gaff is at the ready. Just bring him up nice and steady. You can see he's got those nice head shakes there. That's the telltale sign of a halibut. Very possibly he goes on another run here, so don't want to get too tight on the drag. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Try to lay him out flat. Definitely a nice fish. Flat. Stick this gaff in him.
Nice.
There he is. Oh. Yeah, that's a good one. ChatGPT coming in clutch. Get this gaff out. It's not quite as big as the one we got last month, but that's still a good fish nonetheless, for sure. It's good we let go of that borderline keeper. We definitely traded up for this one. I got him good with the gaff. I can't even get the gaff out of there. Look at that fish. There's the white side, and there's the brown side. That's a good sized fish. Take a look at this guy. Yeah, yeah. Yep. That's a good sized halibut. Thank you, ChatGPT. Coming through in the clutch right there. All right, let's give him a measure. I don't think, I'm guessing like 36, 37 maybe. Let's see. Mouth closed, not quite, 35. Yeah, that's a good sized fish. About 35 inches. Not a bad one. We'll take it. That's the limit fish right there. That can be the hardest one to get sometimes. Sometimes that third fish is troublesome, but it worked out for us today. With the help of AI, I guess. White on one side, brown on the other. California halibut. Now that we got the fishing taken care of, let's go back to our checklist here. All right, number 8. Oh no, sorry, number 8 was follow the fishing regulations. We already talked about that. Obviously, this one's gonna be over 22 inches, 35 inches, very much a keeper. And that's it, number 3, so no more for us. But the last thing on our checklist is number 7, follow safety precautions. Honestly, this probably should have been at the top of the list, in my opinion, but you know, whatever, it's ChatGPT. Always wear a life jacket and follow all safety precautions when kayak fishing. Make sure you have communication device such as a VHF radio or cell phone to call for help in case of emergency. And honestly, I think you should carry both. I always carry my cell phone with me. Lucky enough for this kayak, it has a nice little holder right here. So I keep that in there. And then I have my VHF radio right here. Honestly, you should probably keep this on yourself, attached to your life jacket, if you want to be at the top of your safety game. And yeah, life jacket. If you ever see me kayak fishing, I'm always wearing a life jacket, especially if you're going to be out kayak fishing by yourself like I am today. I mean, there's other kayakers out here, as you saw, so I'm not totally alone. But yeah, if you're going to be coming out by yourself, definitely make sure to take all the safety precautions. You should also tell someone else, you know, tell your wife, tell your husband, tell your friend, tell your mom, tell your dad, whatever. Tell someone where you're going to be going, when you expect to be back, so that way, in case something happens and they don't hear from you, they know where to look, I guess. So anyways, a lot of safety precautions. I actually did a video a while back now. I think I did the top 5 safety tips for kayak fishing. So if you're interested, or if you're unaware, you're new to kayak fishing, I recommend checking that video out. You can find it in the archives if you search on my channel. But anyways, ChatGPT, pretty dang helpful. honestly, I think I probably know a little bit more about halibut fishing, in my humble opinion, than a robot does, but that's just because I've done it for a long time. And if you're new to kayak fishing or you're new to halibut fishing, honestly, it's not a bad place to start. Get some good information from there. And honestly, it's a good resource, but I'll tell you, it's not perfect. And how do I know that's not perfect? Well, first off, thank you for watching. And this is how I know it's not perfect.
If I caught a huge California halibut with the help of AI, would you like and subscribe?
As an AI language, I don't have blah, 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 blah. Wow. And that is why you and I are better than AI.